Warsame, judge, commissioner, interviewed the CJ. And now, when the CJ was applying for the job of the CJ, she appeared before Commissioner Warsame. Yesterday, it is poetic justice. Justice Warsame appeared before Kome. Is the President Ruto going to follow what Uhuru did and refuse to gazette Warsame? Welcome to Trending News from Court Helicopter. Yesterday, the Judicial Service Commission nominated a judge of the Court of Appeal, Justice Mohamed Warsame, to be the nominee for the position of the Supreme Court to replace the late Ibrahim Mohammed, who passed on. Mohammed Ibrahim, who passed on, was a pillar. He was detained with Raila Odinga. He did a lot of work, and may Allah rest his soul in eternal peace. The contest was shaped by five participants. In my view, and we posted in Court Helicopter very early, there was no competition for Justice Warsame. Warsame was cut above everybody else. Why did I post and say Warsame must be given this position? When you look at the five contestants, the four of them were highly educated. Justice Sargon has a PhD degree in law. Justice Katwa Kigen, Justice Tuyot, have a master's degree in law. Wakili Ann Makori has a master's degree. Only Justice Warsame has a bachelor's degree from the University of Nairobi. So, in terms of academic arguments, Warsame's papers were low. Leave the drama that we saw of a certain paper being put, a master's degree paper being put in his file, and the CJ asked him and he said he doesn't own a master's degree. Number two, the second point that Warsame brought that none of them brought is the question about his administrative career. Warsame depicted a very strong personality in terms of administration. He has held positions of leadership within Judiciary and he has delivered. When you compare the others, all the other four, other than the IPOA lady, the others have never held any administrative or heads of department position. Katwa Kigen left practice just the other day. Tuyot has not had a position of leadership in Judiciary, although he's a Court of Appeal judge. Then we have Sargon has been in leadership as a principal judge, but his career and his stature has not come in. Third, Warsame came in very strongly, and his knowledge about the operations of the judiciary, having been a commissioner of the JC from 2013 to 2024, 10 years, he knew the operations of the judiciary, he knew how things are going to work. That knowledge gave him a serious advantage against outsiders. If you look at the four of the other contestants, they didn't understand how JSC, how the commission works, and what does the commission look when it awards marks. Warsame was on top of that by virtue of his being a commissioner of the commission. Fifth, when you look at the personality of the five people, Warsame came out as a very strong, independent mind. He could not be intimidated updated. Remember the interview between the Court of Appeal, Supreme Court Judge, Justice Njoki Ndung'u, when Njoki Ndung'u was asking Warsame whether he's going to accept to be a junior judge and whether, having held very key positions, it is going to be an inferiority complex. Warsame was very firm. Two, if you look at the personality of Warsame, he took on the Supreme Court head on, and he told them what they have never done. For example, Warsame's argument that the voice of the public is not represented in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, remember, at one time was christened, attacked the Supreme Court on 4 issues. One, they made a wrong determination about an illegitimate child under the Muslim law. It is Warsame who put it very clearly that that was not the position of the Muslim law. Remember, when the decision was done, the topmost minister from that region, that is Aden Duale, said that the Supreme Court did not understand the Islamic law. Two, Warsame attacked the Supreme Court on how they have been holding their public engagement. He said the Supreme Court, people don't know what the Supreme Court does. Actually, this is the question. How many Kenyans know that the Supreme Court sits daily for 5 days and makes decisions? People know the Supreme Court only deals with the cases of presidential petition. And Warsame was very categorical that they must remove the Supreme Court from the Supreme Court building and take the Supreme Court to the owners being Wanjiku in the village. The Supreme Court should go and sit in Bungoma one day. The Supreme Court should go and sit in Nyamira one day. The Supreme Court should sit in Garissa one of these days. So he indicted the Supreme Court that it is living in ivory towers. This is a very serious question. Article 10 talks of public participation. Has the Supreme Court ever involved itself in public participation? The CJ tried to defend themselves that they have one the Supreme Court day, one day in the whole of 365 days. They have town halls in 5-star hotels. Warsame was telling them the Supreme Court should go to the village, hold barazas and explain to the people. The Supreme Court judges should go to the magistrates' court. Third, Warsame indicted the Supreme Court badly when he said there is no collaboration. There is no linkages between the Qadhi's courts, the small claims magistrates, the tribunal lead judicial officers, the magistrates, the judges of High Court and the Court of Appeal. What is Warsame telling the public? That these guys are aloof. They make decisions, but they are not engaging on the people who are using these decisions. The Supreme Court decision binds all courts. It is not the Supreme Court that is the consumer of the jurisprudence they make. It is the lower courts. So Warsame was telling them that they must come down. And that was a serious indictment on the Supreme Court. When you look at Warsame, his personality, he was asked whether he has an ambition of being a politician. Every other of the 5 judges, who are the 4 contestants, none looked political. Warsame came out very clearly that after I retire, I have a life. Others, they have only one life. They will work for judiciary, retire, and die as judges. Warsame has told people he has an ambition. After judiciary, he will go to be the governor, to contest to be the governor of Mandera. This is in pursuant to Article 38 of the Constitution, the right for political rights. This is the Warsame that we are dealing with. When you look at his personality, which was put up there against the other personalities, how has Warsame come out during the interviews? Court Helicopter will bring you excerpts of Warsame interviewing Justice Professor Ojwang. Ojwang was a Court of Appeal, was a Supreme Court judge. Warsame was in the Court of Appeal, but he was a commissioner. Warsame says he is a 2-star general. Ojwang is a 3-star general, meaning High Court judges are first 1-star, Court of Appeal 2-star, then Supreme Court 3 stars. He took Ojwang head on. That is Warsame. 2, he was asked about his interview with Justice Nduma Nderi. Nduma later moved from the employment court. They are now sitting together with Justice Warsame. That is the type of personality that faced everybody head on at the judiciary, and he fought his way out. So his personality was of a man out to look for the job, a man out to fight for his space, and that is why he outpaced all his peers to get this job. The 4th angle why Warsame was better placed to get this job is the question of the face of the republic. Under the Constitution, recruitment must show the face of the republic. If you look at the 6 judges of the Supreme Court, all of them are Christians. Chief Justice Martha Koome is a Christian. Deputy Chief Justice is a Christian, Mwilu. Smokin Wanjala is a Christian. Lenaola is a Christian. Ouko is a Christian. Then we have Njoki Ndung'u is a Christian. The Christians are 6. Where is the face of the Muslim community? So Warsame came out as a marginalized person. Look at his introduction when he tells the Chief Justice, I am coming from the outside to bring in what the small Wanjiku is talking. In his introductory remark, he brings himself as an outsider, representing the marginalized group. Who are these marginalized group? Warsame comes from Mandera. There are only 2 known positions in law in Mandela. 2 stalwarts, Warsame in Judiciary and Senior Counsel, the Grand Mullah Ahmed Sir. Those are the 2 luminaries of this area. They went to school in the villages in Mandela. Mandera is only the next border point to Somali. From Mandera to Nairobi, these 2 sons of the county have made it to the top of the law. One now is the top Grand Mullah in legal profession. The other one is a top brain at the Supreme Court. So the question of affirmative action, the question of the Muslim faith and the marginalized, he had to get this job. When you look at the 4 contestants, and they were being asked, where do you come from? Anne Makori, born in Mount Kenya region, but married in Kisii. Justice Tuyot, Justice Katwa Kigen, Justice Agon from the Kalenjin community. So, Warsame was above everybody. The next issue that brings Warsame above everybody, judiciary seems to have what you call an image problem. The judges of the six judges, other than Chief Justice Martha Koome, the others are not visible. They are not known what stand they have. They are technocrats. They are operatives. They operate like civil servants. Chini ya maji. Warsame has put his image in the public. Warsame brings the judiciary's image in the bedrooms and boardrooms and sitting rooms of the country. So the deficit of the judiciary is going to be atoned by the bigger life than image of Warsame. The fight against corruption is going to be fought properly because Warsame comes in as the person who has the fight, who has the belly, who has the fire to fight corruption within the judiciary. Can the executive call Warsame and tell him, rule this way, make this judgment this way in a presidential election? I doubt. Everybody knows Warsame's position. He's so honestly ruthless. He's so above board that nobody can talk about it. Look at the question of his integrity. Did any of the 4 other judges get any recommendation from the Law Society of Kenya? None. Warsame got 2 endorsements from the Law Society of Kenya Nakuru and the Law Society of Kenya Eldoret. That tells you Warsame has a connection with advocates. He's courteous. He's firm. His theory of production of judgments connects with the Law Society of Kenya. The others didn't have that image. When you look at the next issue, is Warsame destined to be the next Deputy Chief Justice? The current Deputy Chief Justice, Justice Mwilu, is on her way out. She's on her way out by virtue of the retirement age of 70. By next year, the Chief Justice, the Deputy Chief Justice, is going to be out. Mark these words about who can replace Mwilu. Remember, we have now the Chief Justice, who is a lady. We have the Deputy Chief Justice, who is a lady. It does not augur well for if one gender is the Chief Justice, the other gender is supposed to be the Deputy Chief Justice. Who can compete with Warsame in the next position of the Deputy Chief Justice? My bet is that we are again yet to see Warsame either this year or next year competing to be the next Deputy Chief Justice. His personality and his grasp of the law and his connection to the public will give him an added advantage and a head start to be the next Deputy Chief Justice. Is he likely to compete when the current Chief Justice retires? The current Chief Justice serves for a term. When she'll be 70, she'll be exiting. The current Chief Justice is above 65 years old. Warsame is 58 years old. So when the battle for the Chief Justice is going to come, I bet that Warsame will be the candlelight carrier from Northeastern Province, Justice retired Chief Justice Mutunga is a Muslim. But the assertiveness of Warsame into that area is very, very critical. When you also look at the question of what did the public expect from Warsame? Warsame's jurisprudence on case laws are very, very many. And he has done a lot of cases at the High Court. He has done a lot of cases at the Court of Appeal. And he has been involved in very controversial matters. Let us also look the controversy of who Warsame is. In 2013, Justice Warsame was elected by the Court of Appeal judges to represent them at the JC. After serving his term, he again was re-elected. When he was re-elected, President Uhuru Kenyatta refused to gazette him. So the question we are having, JC has nominated Warsame. Is the President Ruto going to follow what Uhuru did and refuse to gazette Warsame? The battle, Warsame went to court. Justice Mwita found out that refusing to gazette and appoint Warsame was illegal, and therefore ordered Warsame to resume office. The state appealed to the Court of Appeal, and the Court of Appeal allowed Warsame to take over his position at JC without the presidential appointment. This is a man who has fought for his position. This is a man who never is scared of controversy. This is a man who was above his peers. None of the four have ever fought for space pursuant to the new constitution of Kenya. Warsame has fought for his rights, and he has succeeded. Is he likely to face the same rejection he faced? Remember, when Uhuru rejected him, his deputy was William Ruto. Currently, William Ruto is the president of the Republic of Kenya. Will he reject Warsame? And if he rejects, are we going to see the similar Warsame being rushing to court and getting an order that says that he will be a judge of the Supreme Court with or without the gazettement of the President of Kenya? Controversial as he is, firm as he is, we wish him the best of luck in his endeavor, and as I've said, without any doubt, Warsame star is on the rise. What is of great interest is that Warsame judge commissioner interviewed the CJ, and now when the CJ was applying for the job of the CJ, she appeared before Commissioner Warsame. Yesterday, it is poetic justice. Justice Warsame appeared before Kome. Look at how things change. Commissioner Oluwande appeared before Justice Warsame when she was being interviewed as a magistrate, as a chief magistrate. How does karma work? Today Warsame is on this side, interviewing people, spitting fire. Tomorrow, he's the other side. The same people he interviewed who are calling him commissioner, my lord, are on this side. That is how justice operates. Look at the last words. When the Chief Justice told him, Judge Koome, Justice Warsame, do you have anything to tell the panel? None of the four asked for a job. Warsame tells the Chief Justice, Justice Kisheru the late gave me a job as a High Court judge. Justice Mutunga, Chief Justice Mutunga, gave me a job as a Court of Appeal judge. Now, Justice Koome, give me the job as a judge of the Supreme Court. The Chief Justice laughed and says, it's not me who gives this job, it is the panel. That passion, that determination, that boldness was above the other four. Did Mother Koome return mkono kwa Justice Warsame? Because at one time, Justice Warsame was Mother Koome's employer. It reversed. Now Mother Koome is the employer of Justice Warsame. I strongly believe the body chemistry between the CJ and Justice Koome, the CJ and Justice Warsame, the two hands will propel the judiciary to a new image that has been dented, that needs a new rebranding, a new restart. Helicopter news, the trending story, we shall be dealing with very many landmark decisions and episodes where Warsame has proved that he is not second to any other person. He is always the man of the firsts. Keep watching and enjoy the episode. Wakili Danstan Omari wishing Justice Warsame all the best in